Welcome to Iowa Pagan News, your informative internet radio station catering to all pagans worldwide. We are dedicated to bringing you the very best in music, news, events, and lots of fun stuff. Come tune into our new podcast at www.plrdn.podbean.com. Now, here's your host, Lou Silverwolf Williams.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Iowa Pagan News on the Prairie Land Radio Network. And once again, I have to say thank you to my good friend, Virginia Ackley, who has been so kind enough to do the intros for us here at IAPN Radio. It's always a pleasure to get to work with our local groups and artists to kind of collaborate together. And this afternoon, I am joined by my friends from the UK, Touch the Earth Band, and also my friend Lynn Gosney, who I have been friends with for, a long time. So it's kind of nice to get to spend a little bit of time together, get reacquainted, and get caught up in what's going on. So welcome, guys. Thank you for taking time out to join me.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So now, let's see. Ever since the lockdown and whatnot with COVID and restrictions and whatnot, what's been happening with the band over the last couple of years?
We had a stab at live streaming. When we was limited to getting together like groups of 6, which was quite convenient for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we done a few streams, but that was testing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird playing when you're used to playing to an audience and you have to play to a camera.
Yeah.
Bruce is very good at trying to rent a crowd.
I'm the sound engineer, but I was reading the comments as they came up on the stream, so I was the whole crowd going, "Woo! Yeah, great, love that one. Play this, do that."
Yeah, I know what that's like because a lot of the artists I've talked to and the bands I've been talking to here over the last couple of months, they've all said the same thing, that they've been having to do live streams, and it's a lot different than playing to an actual audience. So I know that everybody is kind of chomping at the bit to get back out on the road and be able to be in front of everybody now.
Well, that's just it. I mean, all our albums, they're all live, recorded live. There's no studio albums on there whatsoever. So we're audience, driven, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have actually been able to play. We had a fantastic concert in Glastonbury in the autumn, so that was probably our first proper live gig. It was great to be back. We had a really big crowd. It was such a good night.
And Free Zone Festival last summer, we played at a festival called Free Zone, which again we're doing this year.
And the Fairy Festival.
And the Fairy Festival. So we've been out. Last year we were everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's good that you're still able to get out to festivals and still play your music in front of everybody, because I know that's how a lot of bands, they really want that energy coming from people who love your music, and that's what keeps you going.
It does. You feed off that. You when you see people enjoying your music, that feeds us to do more and to really sort of feel it in the moment as well. Because we tend to do, although we've got our songs and we've got quite a few songs that we like to do that people love, but we love to do our inspirationals as well, and they're very much in the moment. And to do those when you've got people in front of you and you can feel their energies, it's much nicer than it is just doing it on a live stream. So we do enjoy those. We do enjoy those inspirationals.
Cool. Now, during the time that we were all kind of cooped up, how many songs did you actually come up with and write and produce?
Well, we're quite limited because there's
Paul.
Lots.
There was two songs that were born just in the first lockdown. Joker and Bone Singer
And Frozen Heart.
and Frozen Heart.
Well, that's 3 out of the
That's
2.
Yeah, so there's two that we actually started putting into our sets.
Three.
Frozen Heart.
Frozen
We
Heart.
haven't actually done that in the set. I did that
we,
a lot.
we did it. We
Yeah.
did it at the Big
We're
Jazz.
still working on that one.
We're
though.
still working on that
We
one.
need another lockdown to work on.
No.
I get chance all the time. So, and we're all getting these words. Jill writes, Lee writes, we all write. Bruce writes. We need, once we're together, that's when the creativity really flows. Apart, we all get these little chants or these little songs coming in, but when we're together, we actually somehow that's when the magic happens.
Yeah, Pete is a 3-hour drive away. He lives in another county.
I mean,
So-
3 hours in America is like just round the corner, but it's quite a long way away.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the UK.
So
Well,
that
yeah,
does limit-
yeah, because
that
you've
does
got a
limit
lot
us
of
getting
you've got
together.
a lot of flat land that you got to go through.
Yeah, it's true. It's quite flat, but that's, and also for the first year of the lockdown, it wasn't allowed to meet up. So and we did try to low live streaming as a way to sort of spread the music with an audience. To actually try and use the internet to play together is hopeless.
A no-go.
You can't be done. The lag is too great. We did try, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it's just it's too frustrating. So you just have to not bother. So that unfortunately did prevent us from our process of creating the music, which is to play together as a band. And so while I think the germ of a lot of songs were created, but to actually make them fully formed songs that we can introduce into our sets, we weren't able to do as many as maybe some other bands who were actually able to meet up together.
Cool.
I think I use the time more to sort of practice playing and techniques. And
Oh, that's understandable. So let's see. Now I know that Lynn, you and we've got mutual friends with a lot of artists over in your neck of the woods. Have you been able to do any collaboration with any of the other artists in the area?
But what in your area?
Well, no, over in your neck of the woods, because
Over here.
yeah.
Well, yeah, occasionally, but more often not. We're playing together. If we can get together, we get together.
We have we've had the opportunities at some festivals to get at the end of the night is get all the musicians together for a
Collaboration.
sort of inspirational end set where we all just gather together and go off together.
That's fun.
Which is
And
good.
Kim Thompson.
Yeah,
we had a lovely
Kim. Yeah.
we
Our
got,
friend Kim.
she's a friend of ours. She's also a Bandcamp artist, and she came and performed at a concert we had here in the summertime. And at the end of the night, we had a fantastic. Just the collaborations tend to be less sort of formal. Let's work out some songs. They're far more what you call a jam session, but we call them inspirationals, and that tends to be what's most satisfying. We've had some amazing experiences where just musicians come together and share their energy and share their music. It's amazing.
Nice. Now, let's talk about your main website that I've got posted up here, and can you explain more about the? I've been trying to give the correct pronunciation for this, but is it
Kerkerain?
Kerkerain. Thank you. You want to explain that a little bit?
Well, when I was questing for a centre where people could come, where we could really be at home and feel the nature around us. The nature's what inspire us, the seasons. I was doing one of my sweat lodges, and for some reason we couldn't get heated that day. We were sitting in there actually in our coats, and we quested for this name for here, and actually it was Jill's brother Rob who actually come up with the name Care Crane. That was how many years ago? 20 years plus. Yeah. Well, we would have been here 20 years come October, so that must have been 20 years ago when that was quested for that name. And we're in the county of Kent, which is 40 miles south, 40 miles east of London. But people keep thinking we're in Wales. Because it sounds Welsh. Welsh. It sounds Welsh.
Well, Care's a
the Care, but Care's dwelling.
Well, I mean, that's
dwelling. So.
And also, it's how it sounds as well. Care is caring and healing for people that come through the gate.
Yeah.
With the sweat lodges, drum making.
Yeah.
Oh, that's understandable.
So the website encompasses everything that the centre does, not just the band's music. It's far more than that.
Touch the Earth isn't just a band; it's a way of life.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would definitely agree with you on that point. And I can definitely understand where sometimes people get confused as to locations and where you're originating from, because I know a lot of the areas over there overlap, and I know a lot of us over here we get kind of confused as to who's from what region, so that's understandable. Okay, so we're gonna be playing a couple of videos for everybody this afternoon, and I took a listen to both of them. I really loved them, and we're going to be, in fact, let's go ahead and get to playing one of them. Let's see. Tell us about Boudica.
Oh, well, Pete lives in Norfolk, where Boudica has real big connections there in her time. And we was collecting... always felt that her energy. She's an amazing warrior woman that really fought for her homeland. And we was collecting poles for Hal's Sweat Lodge actually, and I was just dragging them down the lane as you do. Mm-hmm. And I was gifted Boudica's Lament, which was just the first part. And every time we sang it, especially when we were in the higher homelands, it just grew and grew in strength. And then we were having just a fun get together here one Sunday, and Boudica's Stand, the second part, came from that. So it's very much an honouring chant of one of our greatest queens of this land.
As I say, I did have a chance to read up on the history of Boudica a little bit, and that's one that I was not familiar with until I started reading up on Boudica.
She fought the Romans pretty hard.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I used to live very, very close to an ancient burial mound. It was just across the road, and it was marked just as an ancient burial mound. But when we went up there and stood there, surrounded by some ancient oak trees, there was a really strong connection with Boudica there, and that sense of the energy. And I think the first time you ever sang Boudica's Lament
was up there,
was standing on that mound. And nobody really knows where Boudica was buried, because the Romans were so keen to put her head on a pike and parade her into Rome. Her body was dug up and moved several times in order to prevent that from happening. So it's uncertain where she's actually buried. But my belief, our belief is that mound has Boudica's remains. And coincidentally, in the village that I was living in, on the sign which had the name of the village called Quidnam, it's an unusual name, on top of the sign was a little cutout of Boudica on her chariot, which legend has it her chariot had big blades coming out of the wheels. So as she drove into the Romans, they would be cut down. But yes, huge connections with Norfolk. That's where the tribe that she was the queen of, the Iceni, lived in Roman times. And as I say, it was the big uprising when the Romans invaded Britain, and it was the Iceni led by Boudicca who drove them down, sacked Colchester, but sadly were eventually defeated.
But when we do that particular song, it's very full of passion.
Well, I'll be able to see that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. This is called Boudicca.
Boudicca, Boudicca, you stood upon the land. You stood with your people, with your spear held in your hand. You fought for your homelands, your daughters by your side. This was your war cries, O Queen of the land. Boudicca, Boudicca, we remember you. Boudicca, Boudicca, we honor you. Gather round, you stood your people, faces painted, you stood true. Not easy would invaders, could they take this land from you? Boudicca, Boudicca, held in many hearts. Boudicca, Boudicca, defender of our land. The people came, they gathered round, standing on your sacred ground. We fight to stand and hold and pray that we see another day. Bodies naked, painted blue, hear the war cry, feel it too. Shield held high into the sky, into fearless battle cries. Boudicca, Boudicca, you fought for your lands, you stood with your people, with your spear held in your hand. The hair he leaves a magic way, in the cloak he hid away. Naked bodies painted blue, Iceni people, they stood true. This our land to love and hold, the people came and they stood bold. Into battle, wielding high, fearless into battle's cries. Boudicca, Boudicca, you fought for your land, you stood with your people, with your spear held in your hand. They took your daughter's sacredness, their blood was on their hands. Your flesh was whipped and bleeding raw, and yet you proudly stand. Not easy would invaders, could they take this sacred land? Boudicca, Boudicca, you stood upon the land, you stood with your people, with your spear held in your hand. Tall and slender, flame red hair, you stopped them with your fearless glare. Into
I'll tell you what, the drumming is what gets me. That is anytime that we get anytime I get around drumming, it just sends me off into another world.
That's the drums call. We always find whenever we've performed at festivals, and sometimes you turn up and you're in there, nobody's arrived. You start drumming, and just people hear it and they come.
Oh yeah,
It's always cool.
But those drums amplified as well.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah. I know that from past experience at festivals and doing drumming myself. Yeah, once you get a couple of us going, everybody else is going to join in.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And the drums are very sacred to us here as well. Like the drums that the band use are made at the centre, where we teach myself and Lynn, we teach people to make drums. So people come here and they birth their own drum, but it's very sacred, completely in ceremony. So as the band, the drums that are used are all made within sacred ceremony, and they're honoured, the animals, so we revere our drums. They are the most important thing, really.
Of course. That's one thing that I have wanted to do for a long time, is construct my own. Well, these days I'll pull it off to where I can get it the way that I want. So, I mean, I've always had a specific vision in my head for the kind of drum I want. So one of these days I'm going to make it happen.
Good. Well, come here.
Well, and that's also on my list. That's also on my list to do, because you will not believe the amount of invites that I have had from people from London, from Ireland, from all over the UK. I've got invites coming out my eardrums. So that's one thing that I've got on my list to do.
Yeah, well, if you get the opportunity, go up to my teacher, and that's Patrick Pinson of Cedar Mountain Drums. He's a very dear friend of ours, and when I first made my first drum with him, and he's been over here a few times and made drums with us. So Cedar Mountain Drums, Portland, Oregon.
Nice. Mela was trying to put in her 2 cents worth as well.
So they're having a conversation now.
Oh, okay. So now, I know that you said that you've just been working on your current music that you've got. Now, do you have any current like new projects that you're working on?
We have accumulated enough new songs, that we probably could do with recording them and getting a new album out. So at the moment, it's kind of in its nucleus. We haven't got a name for it, but it's really about getting them recorded, getting them mixed. As Lee said earlier on, all our music up till now has emerged from live recordings. For the most part, they're actually live concerts. Sometimes we get together in a sacred space and we'll record some of the songs there. But as I say, the vast majority emerge out of live performances. In fact, I can honestly say that one of our albums, called Into the Wild, there was practically no rehearsal of any of those tracks. They all just were created on the road, as it were, and recorded, and that's how that album came out. So I think that's really where we're at now. We've got a lot of songs that people come to us and says, "Oh, I want that one. I want something with that one." Oh,
it's because we've done it in the moment.
We've done it in the moment, and so there is definitely a new album in the works. because it's been a little while. Our last album was actually an inspirational piece called Gathering, and that was an amazing experience at this fabulous place called Gaunt's House. And we decided one afternoon, we had an hour we'd been given, and we decided to take a musical journey through the 5 elements. And again, it was a classic example of what Lynn describes as music in the moment. We decided, broadly speaking, which instruments we were going to play, but exactly what we were going to play was really down to what Spirit would give us. And that's one of our most satisfying albums, because it really takes you on a journey. But I think we're due a new one now.
Yeah, we're definitely due. A lot of our songs also tend to fit quite well seasonally as well, because I think where we're so connected to the land, because we have regular Celtic sweat lodges here, so and they are in harmony with the 8 Celtic festivals, and that then takes us in tune with our music. I have to say, spring is one of our biggest influences, and then autumn winter is another big of an influence for us. But we've got like music that takes us through the seasons as well, so that's where because we're very in tune with the land around us.
It certainly is the inspiration for many of the songs, either the nature, the experience of nature, or that connection with the ancestors and the places our ancestors lived and worked. And that tends to be where the tunes come from, although I think sometimes the inspirational just comes from the moment, and that's what's so special.
Well,
what happens, sometimes I'll get these words come, and then we'll put them together as a band, and that's where the music then comes into its own. It's like one of our Pete's talking about the ancestors. One of the songs that I got a few years ago, actually, I can't remember, about 4 years ago now, was in Ireland, and that was the Bone Singer, and it was all about the old singer that would have sung the bones of the dead. And I got the chant, got the song, brought it to the band, and then they're an amazing set of musicians, Lee, Jill, Pete, and they just put this tune to it, and it's that's how it flows, really.
Nice. Well, it's a unique ability to be able to come up with music while you're out traveling and having Spirit guide you in the direction that you should be going, and basing your music off of your personal experiences in the areas that you're traveling to. So, I mean, that's what I love about all the artists that we have in the pagan community. That's the way that they let Spirit dictate their music to them and give them the inspiration for it. And that's what I love.
It's being able to step in that place of trust. You get in front of a big audience, and you look at each other and we think, well, what we're going to do? But it just, because we have that element of trust there, we just know that it will come together. Sometimes it's very hard to actually to give us a title, if you like, or what is our genre, what is our music. It's very it's quite fluid, isn't it? Really, it's very fluid. So we're not this and this. We're just that.
There's a big variety of styles. But I will say, and I have to say, when I first met Lee and the way he plays guitar, that actually that for me, he's there.
I am here. I'm just sitting over this side. I'm with you in spirit.
But it was actually Lee's style of guitar playing, which when I first actually played my fiddle with him, that's what drew me into the band in the first instance. Obviously, everything else then followed, because certainly from a melodic perspective, we seem to connect.
Yeah,
and that's how quite a lot of the melodies
we often play during Sweat Lodge. There's a
come sit here, Lee.
There's when we have sweat lodges over here, there's an opportunity while we're sitting around the fire, we just play guitar and fiddle.
Yeah,
with each other, just play together.
Stare into the fire
and see what happens. And they're the flutterfly moments.
Yeah, you can never remember them. They're just in the moment. But that kind of getting comfortable with each other's style means that when we're trying to come up with think of a melody that's going to work with the lyrics that Lynn has come up with and the rhythms that Gilly's putting into it, it's amazing and just how we just connect in that way. I mean, the hardest bit is actually remembering it the next time you want to play them.
Yeah, there you go.
And sometimes it differs.
And it takes quite a few performances before a song will settle into the form that's going to be certainly the same next time. Quite often that the music is a constantly evolving thing, and then that's how some of the songs have just morphed from one thing to the other.
We got together this afternoon for our trance dance, and after everyone had gone, all the equipment's still set up, so we decided to have a little rehearsal. And there's a song called Auras of Colour, and I used to down tune my guitar a whole step, but I've been using a 12-string guitar a lot more recently. Instead of transposing into different chord shapes, I changed the key and I threw my mum in the deep end.
Right in the deep end, they did.
But we managed to.
It sounds lovely.
Sounds nice.
It sounds really nice.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, sometimes you just have to go for it. I mean, there's been other times where really slow ballads have ended up turning into something quite different. And certainly the example that you gave, Lynn, of how Boudica's Lament, which is the first section, was suddenly, and I forget when it happened, but all of a sudden it became clear that drums were needed, and that turned it into the version that you'll find on the CD is only that first section because the rest of it hadn't come yet, and we've yet to record a version that we're entirely satisfied with, to actually put out the full piece. But that's just how these things happen.
That's how it all worked, because we was recording our live sets and people wanted to take something away with them that night other than just the memories. They wanted to take a physical part of us with them, CDs. That we started burning these CDs ourselves of our live recordings. I was very difficult in those early days because I wasn't happy with the quality. I wanted to get into a studio, but like Pete was saying, how we work, you can't replicate that in a studio environment.
Well, no, you can't.
No.
You can't. And I mean, that's also something I hear from pretty much all the artists who I've gotten to know over the years and get caught up with over the last few months anyway. And they've all said the same thing, that when they're out playing music, it's never the same as what is recorded because they can't duplicate that. And it's always a little bit different, has a little bit more meaning while they're playing it live. And yeah, it's just something special.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing live, it's real. And it's the mistakes that make it real.
Yeah.
It is really those mistakes, because that was then it was endearing to people as well, because you go into a studio now, you can have even you can sing a load of wrong notes and it can come out absolutely perfect. But we like that rawness and that realness to it, and it's not, there isn't any. The only perfection is out there. It's not what we create. It's what we create is what we like to say is real. And yourself, when you're doing live music, Bruce does amazing because of all the different things. Suddenly we're getting feedback here and feedback there, but that's the realness of it all.
Right.
There's nothing to put in a backing track on and just singing along to it. It doesn't give the same feeling. And one of the things that we found over the years we've been together, because we're a family band as well, is that people see that. They come up and say, "Oh, are you all family?" Because they see it. Because although Pete is family, he's chosen family, and that really means a lot more, really. Mm-hmm. But we are a family band, and there's something that flows between us all. It's like we know what the other one's doing next without thinking about it. It just happens. But one of the things that has really over the years has really touched us is the amount of healing, the amount of connection or feeling that our music has given to other people, has given to people. And that means a great deal to us, to know that somebody's come to one of our, or they've listened to some of our music and it stirred something in them that's really helped them in that part of that journey that they've either been on or they're on at that moment in time. And that for us, well, for me personally, I can't speak for the rest, but I think I am in the same saying, is that is what really does it for us, is when we know that people have felt it, not just listened to it, but felt the music.
Oh, I can say that for myself personally, that the music we play, for me, is, we don't do it because we want to, we kind of do it because we have to. You know, and I think that's why a lot of musicians play. You're kind of compelled almost to create this music, and if you find other people with whom you can sort of channel this creativity with a shared sense of what you want to make music about, then you kind of have to do it. Which is why the last 2-3 years of the lockdown was so difficult, because it's not the same when you're not in that person's energy and their vibration, and that's why we kind of have to do it.
Right. I completely understand that, because I hear that from every artist who I have spoken with over the years. That is what drives them to keep doing what they love doing, what they want to do, and what they feel that they have to do. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break and to hear from our sponsors, and then we're going to be back with another video. We're going to be playing Call of the Wild next, so don't go nowhere, and we're going to be right back right after these messages.
I just walked into this coffee shop. You'll never guess what I found. All the help is deeply engrossed in metaphysical science. You should too. I'm at the Egyptian, 475 Park Avenue in Idaho Falls, Idaho. You get your very own copy for free, and we're open till 10.
Sister Moon, Apothecary and More is a collaboration of local island witches bringing you handcrafted tools for ritual, amazing apothecary, custom vinyl work, merchandise, and so much more. But we are not just an online store. We are a sisterhood, a platform, and a voice for everything that is magical. Join us for our famous Tarot Tuesdays from 11 to 4 Eastern Standard Time for a discounted reading with our amazing in-house intuitive reader and priestess, Wolf Spirit Energy, Beverly Oberlin. You can find us on Facebook at Sister Moon Store or on the web at sistermoon.shop. So fly on over and stop in for a spell.
To Pagan Artist Spotlight on the Prairie Land Radio Network and the Podbean Podcast Network.
All right, we are back with our good friends Touch the Heart Band, or Touch the Earth Band. And like I said, we're going to be playing another video here. This one's called Call of the Wild. And I believe that you did mention this one while we were talking. What was the story behind this one?
Oh, that's where did that one come from?
Well, the story of that one, actually, it's a lot of people tend to think that it's because it's out in the wild landscape, but actually it was the wild landscape within us and within the landscape that we will all be journeying to when the time is right for crossing over. It's actually a song that's taken a soul across the waters to the summer lands.
Wow. All right.
It's taking us back to that wild place, to that free place. So we hear the call of that wild.
Nice. All right. This is called Call the Wild.
Hear the call of the wild. Hear the call of the wild. Hear the call of the wild calling you home. trees against the darkening sky. As far and wide clouds gather, oh, it sings a lullaby, taking you home. Hear the call of the wild, hear the call of the wild, hear the call of the wild, calling you home.
Man, I don't know how you guys do it without getting lost in the drumming. If that were me up there, I'd be off in my own little world. It's like,
What happened once, Earl?
Oh, but once,
Not more than once.
we were taking a workshop was taking them on a shamanic journey, and the guys were all drumming on the big drums. Lee, can you explain what happened?
what, when I was playing the didge?
No, you were playing the drum.
Oh,
when
the microphone dropped down.
No, this was at like this place in Essex, and like we tend to, if we're running a workshop doing a journey, we'll walk round the drums while we're drumming a shamanic journey.
mm-hmm.
And I remember I looked at Lee and he like went a bit wobbly and he looked as if he was like nearly fell over sort of thing. And later he says to me, "What was that point when everybody went out of rhythm? Do you remember?" And I just sort of stood there and looked at him and he went, "Oh, it was me." And it's because he literally nearly fell over, because when you're doing that shamanic beat, it's going to change your brainwaves. You know, the science is undeniable. So it happens. It happens to us all.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
We've all done it, you know. It's really to get lost like that.
The best bit about that festival was that we were playing in there and a load of stormtroopers came in, and Lee came out with a great statement as they came in. And what was that, Lee?
These are not the drums you're looking for.
Cool. I like that. Oh man,
I've been hit on the head by my wife Jill with a beater, because I sit there playing the didge and I go off on. I try not to, but there is times when I just go off and get lost in it. In the drums, all the didge, all of it.
I've been hit on the head with a beater as well.
Usually I hear the rattle, a particular rattle that Jill plays, to call me back. I didn't hear it.
Thank you.
So she started tapping me with it, and then she was getting no response, and so that's when you hit me on the head with it. Come back, Lee. Come back.
It's an occupational hazard with trance music.
Yeah, I can imagine so. But I think that's what would make things really fun, is to have instances like that, especially when you're playing out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's a risk you take.
There is a track on one of the CDs that comes with a warning not to listen to it when you're driving, because we got reports of people that kept missing their junctions and ending up miles away from home.
Oh, it's Wooden Bone, isn't it?
Carry a health warning. Do not drive and listen to this at the same time.
Oh, is it on Shaman's?
Yeah,
It's
Shaman's
Shaman's
horse.
horse.
No, driving's fine. Just be prepared to miss your
Get
exits.
lost.
Yeah.
Oh, that Shaman. Yeah, that was our very first proper didge inspirational, was Shaman's Horse. That's on Sacred Wheel, and that was the first time where we used the didges in that way. We've been playing didge for a while, but we used them in that way, and that was just. I remember coming home after we recorded that and going, "That was amazing," and having to listen back to it. But it's become a really, really popular. It's rare that we do a concert that doesn't involve using the didges, and we were using this afternoon when we did the trance dance.
Nice. Oh, I gotta admit that you're the first ones I've heard that's actually had to put a disclaimer label on your CD. Do not listen to this while you're driving.
People complaining.
Oh, this is my turn. But we play a variety of instruments as well. and you know, all those different flavors just all make it what it is.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've got my friend Patricia who is listening in today. She is a integral part of Iowa Pagan News. She is the our public relations, and she shares all of our posts all over the place. And she said that she is in love with your music, and she's always wanted a didgeridoo.
Oh wow! Well, get one.
Get one. Get one.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, listening, be sure to check them out at on their Bandcamp page at Touch the Earth Band under at Bandcamp. See, it's touchtheearthband.bandcamp.com, where you can find a lot of their music there on Bandcamp. Those of us here at Iowa Pagan News and myself, I fully support what Bandcamp does for all of our artists in the pagan community, because they give back 100% to the artists. And that's what really has given them my support. So be sure to check them out on Bandcamp. And then they've also got their main website, which is, here we go, touchtheearthuk.com. And you can find out more about the Sweat Lodge, their music, and events as well that you can get caught up on. And for those of you who are out in their neck of the woods, you can find out where they're going to be at as well. Let's see, what have you got coming up on your schedule next?
I would say if your listeners also want to check out our Facebook page, that's probably the best place for events with the band. So if they come and find us on our Facebook page, but we've got the next event we're playing at is a festival called the Fairy Festival, and it's a festival we've been playing with. How many years? 15 years we've been involved in this. It's a lovely little festival. It's right in the heart of a little wood down on the south coast of the UK. And after that, I think we've got a small event here. But I think the next big festival after that is one in Suffolk called Gone to Earth. And then after that, there's one down in Dorset called Free Zone. And also we have our very, very popular, that's a bit further on in November, we have a concert at Glastonbury, which is the way we sort of round off our year of playing is in Glastonbury. And we do a trance dance workshop during the day, and then a concert in the evening. And the trance dance is usually sold out. But all the details of all those events can be found on our Facebook page if your listeners are interested. He's there.
Up there now.
Yay!
Yep, and I've got it posted up here so that people can find it. It's facebook.com/touchtheearth, and you'll be able to find most all their events that they've got coming up. It seems like Glastonbury is one of the main places that everybody plays at.
I think we've had it's the place that we've had. I think, what can I say? It's the place we've played where people have travelled the furthest. The furthest that anybody's travelled to come to see us was from Finland to Glastonbury.
For the night.
For the night.
Nice.
That's the record. But yes, it's a great crowd. It's a fantastic venue. So and yeah, we love playing there.
Yeah, this is I think that you think in Glastonbury Festival, but Glastonbury Town has been in the music sort of scene for years with their venue there, the Assembly Rooms. Hundreds and thousands of bands have played over there over the years, from the 60s to now. So many bands that people know, and that's aside from the festival.
Oh yeah,
It's a beautiful location for the festival, isn't it? Assembly Halls.
Yeah. I think I don't think a time has gone by where I've talked to a band that they have not mentioned Glastonbury, and playing at one of the places there in Glastonbury. I mean, that's seems to be a really popular area to go to. So, yeah, I'm very well familiar with it.
Yeah, another place actually that draws a lot of people, and that's Ireland, Southern Ireland. And we were very fortunate to play at the Hill of Ishna, which is in County Westmeath, at their very first rekindling of the ancient fires on the hill of Ishna, which is taking place this weekend, I believe. So we played there as a band. It was a great honour to. We opened and closed the very first or second one. No, it was the first one there, and that was very special as well. So our music has taken us all on some amazing journeys. We've met some amazing people through it from all over the world, and it means a great deal to us because that is what our connection is. It's the connection to people. Our friend Patrick and the drums have all birthed from America, really, from Oregon. That was at Portland was where I first met Patrick. And the drums have really grown from there, and the drums are an integral part of the band. And it's all these people we meet through our music, which is amazing. It really is. Nice.
Well, you mentioned Finland, and it brings to mind I'm good friends with a group over there in Finland called Green Rose Fair. I got to know those folks quite well.
Okay.
All right.
We went over and played at a friend's party in Finland and met lots of Finnish bands. There's one, Mr. Rose Garden. They were very amazing. Quick plug for them. I don't really know them as people, but their music is amazing.
Very nice. Okay, well, definitely want to say thank you for taking time out to join me this evening, and it has been a pleasure getting to touch base with you and get caught up with what's going on. And Lynn, it's always good to see you as well. I know that, like I said, you and I have been friends for quite a long time, and it's always nice to get to touch base with you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us and sharing our music as well.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'll definitely be sharing your music because, I definitely have plans on heading out to festival season this year, especially around here in the Midwest. So I'll definitely be sharing your music with everybody here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. You've been listening to another edition of Iowa Pagan News on the Prairie Land Radio Network, and you've been listening to our conversation here with Touch the Earth Band. Their music is fantastic. Be sure to check them out on their Facebook page, on their Bandcamp page. You'll definitely be amazed at the music that they are coming out with. And as always, if you have questions for us here at Iowa Pagan News, be sure to send me an email to earl@iapnradio.net or else at iowapagannews@gmail.com. I want to say good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be, and pleasant journeys, everyone. And we are going to be done and out of here for the day. Be sure to check us out for more special interviews coming up. Have a great day, everyone. And like I said, we're going to be out of here for the day.
Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. All shows are recorded and available for download at plrdn.podbean.com. All rights are reserved and may not be replayed without written permission by IAPN Radio Management. Come join us at our new group, IAPN Radio on Facebook, where you can be kept up to date for future broadcasts. Pleasant journeys, everyone.